Okay, moving on to chapter 26, titled 100 Questions in I Am Malala. The end of chapter 25, we remember that Malala has questions about how her family is going to pay for her medical care. She knows something terrible happened to her, but has no idea what that actually is. She's getting weird dreams, and she was actually able to talk to her dad on the phone. And realized at the end that he had been told not to cry, just like she had. But she wasn't able to respond because she still has the tube in her throat. So she's not able to talk, but she's able to write. Okay, chapter 26, 100 questions. I wrote a new note in my pink diary. Mirror. When I got my wish and the nurses brought me a small white mirror, I was surprised at what I saw. Half of my head was shaved, and my long hair was gone. Stitches dotted my left brow. A huge purple and yellow bruise surrounded my left eye. My face was swollen to the size of a melon, and the left corner of my mouth turned down in a frown. Who was this poor, distorted Malala, and what had happened to her? I was confused, but I wasn't upset, just curious, and I didn't know how to express what I was feeling. Now my hair is small, was all I could write. Had the Taliban shaved my head, I wondered? How did this happen to me? I wrote, my letters scrambled. What happened to me? Dr. Fiona said what she always said. Something bad happened to you, but you're safe. But this time it wasn't enough. I pointed at my words. Was I shot? I wrote. I couldn't move the pencil fast enough to keep up with my questions. Had anyone else been hurt? I wondered. Had there been a bomb? I was getting frustrated with my sore head and my bad memory and the tube that prevented me from talking. I started to squirm. I would get out of here and find a computer so I could check my email and ask someone what happened. I saw the cell phone on Dr. Fiona's belt and signaled to her that I wanted it. I mimed dialing on my palm, and then I brought the phone to my ear. Dr. Fiona placed a gentle hand on my wrist and sighed. Then she spoke very slowly and calmly. You were shot, she said, on the bus on your way home from school. So they did it, I thought. The Taliban really did what they said they would do. I was furious. Not that they'd shot me, that I hadn't had a chance to speak to them. Now they'd never hear what I had to say. 2 other girls were hurt, Dr. Fiona said, but they're all right, Shazia and Kainat. I didn't recognize those names. Or, if I did, I couldn't remember who these girls were. She explained that the bullet had grazed my temple near my left eye and traveled 18 inches down to my left shoulder where it stopped. It could have taken out my eye or gone into my brain. She said, it's a miracle you're alive. All right, I'm going to pause here. It said, she explained that the bullet had grazed my temple near my left eye. Your temple's kind of like the mushy part. So you've got your eye, and then you've got this little bone right here, and then right here it's kind of mushy. That's your temple. So it went through here all the way down, and it stopped in her shoulder. Traveled 18 inches from here, and it's affecting the whole left side of her face. Her eye can't shut. Her mouth is down in a frown because it takes your facial muscles here to smile or talk or anything. So her face is like this, and her eye has to stay open, so it's weeping. It's like tearing up. We know what that feels like. So she's kind of in a bad position, but when you think about it, the bullet didn't go into her brain, like they said. It didn't go into her eye. So she's, very lucky in an unlucky situation. I tried to speak, but remembered I couldn't. I took the mirror and pointed to a spatter of dots, black dots, near my temple. Dr. Fiona grimaced slightly. Gunpowder. I lifted my hand and showed her more black dots on the fingers of my left hand. That's gunpowder too, she said. You must have lifted your hand to cover your face at the last minute. I will admit that I used to be sensitive about my looks. I was never satisfied. My nose was too big. I had funny black spots on my face. My skin was too dark. Even my toes were too long. But I looked at this Malala in the mirror with nothing but curiosity. I was like a scientist studying a specimen. I wanted to understand exactly what had happened, where the bullet went, and what exactly it had done. I was fascinated by what I saw. I wasn't sad. I wasn't scared. I just thought, It doesn't matter what I look like. I'm alive. I was thankful. I glanced over at Dr. Fiona. She had positioned a box of tissues between us, and I realized then that she'd been expecting me to cry. Maybe the old Malala would have cried, but when you've nearly lost your life, a funny face in the mirror is simply proof that you are still here on this earth. I just wanted to learn more about what the bullet had done. Had it passed through my brain? Was that why I couldn't hear properly? Why couldn't I shut my left eye? And what does any of this have to do with what's going on with my left arm? I had 100 questions for Dr. Fiona, but I only asked one. How soon can I go home? So that is the end of chapter 26.